After discovering the name of my 7th great-grandfather on my daddy's side was a patriot, I made it a point to try and seek out his grave. In this vlog, I will be telling of my experience while hunting down my grandfather's grave, as well as sharing his story and my connection to him. During the summer of 2023, I had already successfully found several of my ancestors' graves. However, finding the grave of High-Key Mosley proved to be the most exciting. First, in trying to locate his grave, I went to the Union County Museum, who suggested that I call the Spartanburg Library. Then, in an unbelievable chain of events, which began with me speaking with someone at the library that shared my first name, after which I quickly received a call back and was informed that an employee of the library was also a relative of my 7th great-grandfather. I was then emailed the following. The gravesite is off of Thump Smith Road in Union, near the Packlet River. There is a trail on the left-hand side of the road. Follow that to the gravestone. There is a gate, but it's not locked. However, you need to contact a member of the hunt club to get the property owner's permission. The email then ended wishing me the best of luck and giving me the phone number of Richard C. Meehan, Jr. Upon contacting Mr. Meehan, I was shocked to learn that he was an author, and my ancestor was actually featured in a book that he had written. While my grandfather was not the main character, I was still beyond excited. In fact, Mr. Meehan's book called Ford the Packlet is a historical fiction set during the American Revolution. It involves a young teenager from Glendale Shoals named Lem Fernandez. Lem lives during a time when people are divided politically, sometimes violently, into either Whigs, Patriot sympathizers, or Tories, loyalists to the king. Lem's father, Henry, is a local merchant who tries to remain neutral. However, that does not work out well for the Fernandez family. In this book, Lem sees that the whole world revolves around power and control, and at such a young age, he has neither. Lem's plight only worsens as he is abducted by a loyalist spy. While taken captive, Lem finds himself locked in a cellar with a starving Catawba girl. In this riveting coming-of-age tale, when the pair finally escape, Lem finds his world turned upside down as the community could not escape the horrors of war. After which the pair end up becoming forced into Patriot service with an army headed to the cowpens. In addition, besides telling me about his book, Ford the Packlet, Mr. Meehan also sent me an email that stated, I always appreciate a call concerning relatives of one of my book's characters. High-Key Mosley was one of my favorite. Here is a clip from my map showing the grave's location. I must say that you will have a time of it searching. The Mosley Family Cemetery, also known as the Jasper Cemetery. The roadway into the old cemetery is located 0.6 of a mile on the left of Thump Road off of Bobby Fawcett Road. The cemetery was on the left of the end of the road in a wooded area. According to the book Ford the Packlet, High-Key was a private in the Continental Army, an Indian fighter, backwoodsman, and childhood friend of Daniel Boone. He lived on Sandy Run Creek, a tributary of the Packlet River just below Glendale Ford. During the Revolutionary War, he served in the 2nd South Carolina Militia under Colonel Thomas Brandon. During his occupation as a blacksmith, he shoed horses and pulled teeth to help pay for his 12 children. From my research, James T. Mosley was an intelligence scout in the Revolutionary War. He was also the brother-in-law of Sergeant William Jasper of Fort Moultrie fame. Mosley was a respected woodsman and is, to a degree, an upstate South Carolina hero. He was also a blacksmith and neighborhood tooth puller, as there were no dentists back then. As I didn't have a babysitter, I had both kids with me. Luckily, I also had my friend Ayana. The first problem was I really wasn't sure on what side of Thump Road to come in on. From what I read, I assumed it would be Bobby Fawcett, but while there were a lot of dirt roads on the left, I could not for the life of me find a road on the left in .6 miles. During my first call with Mr. Meehan, he told me I would need to speak to the landowner who lived on the road. Then my second problem arose, in that everyone I spoke with who lived on the road looked at me like I was crazy. Don't get me wrong, everyone was super friendly, but clearly suspicious. I decided to park and run down a few of the dirt trails. While not wild about the idea, Ayana agreed to sit in the car with the kids while I tried to quickly find the grave. I am not in the best of shape, and as it was in the dead of summer, it didn't take long until I was red-faced and sweaty. I had all but given up when a car slowly came down the road. It was one of the women I had spoken to who lived on the road. She introduced me to her very young nephew, who apparently knew exactly where the grave was. Something in my gut told me not to follow this 10 to 13-year-old boy into the woods, but I couldn't help it. I was desperate to find Hickey Mosley. I felt like this was my absolute last chance. So we walked and walked and walked some more. He was very friendly, and I tried to make small talk, but after 30 minutes, I got very nervous. 40 minutes later, and the sun began to set, and I was scared.
So yeah, this man, he's my relative. He was a dentist, and he was in the Revolutionary War, and he was chased by a pack of wolves and climbed up a tree. That's what he's famous for. I don't know if I'd escape a pack of wolves, but that was one of the things that he was known for. Ooh, I stepped in a spider. Ugh. I know. My car wouldn't even made it through this.
I'm so sorry it's taking you so
Oh, it's okay. I'm glad that you're helping me out, because there ain't no way I'd have found this.
I started screaming, "Help!" as loud as I could. Then we heard some rumbling noises coming, and the boy seemed nervous too, probably because we were trespassing. Then, out of nowhere, a gang of four-wheelers appeared. The boy's aunt had called some cousins, and they were our rescue party. What appeared to be the leader of the pack then looked at the boy and said, "Why did you bring her down here? You're not even close to the grave." More embarrassing than being out of shape, sweaty, and dumb enough to get lost, when mounting the back of the four-wheeler behind this man I didn't know, my leg grazed his pistol that was clipped on his hip. After which I said, "I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shoot you. You're my hero." When I finally made it back to my car, both of my boys had gotten out of their car seats and were crying and had undressed themselves. Before leaving, I thanked my rescuers, after which my hero told me that the grave was down the first road and to look for a tree with a knot. Then he looked down at my sandals and said, "Wear boots, it's swampy," and rode off. So we left, and while licking the wounds of my hurt ego, we had a picnic in the park because I was too stinky to go anywhere. Several days later, when I got up the courage to try again, We parked at the first visible road with a gate. Then we all got out and walked down a path. Beside the insane events that led me to finding his grave, I found it to be an amazing coincidence that I had only just started working on my genealogy and simultaneously reading the narrative history of Union County, which happened to mention Hickey Mosley's name. According to the narrative history in Union County, South Carolina by Alan Charles, on page 44, it reads, Thomas Hickey Mosley was a squeaky-voiced but strong-limbed Unionite who was a forager for General Morgan's men while they encamped at Glendale Shoals. Mosley was returning from camp one evening with a deer that he had slain when he was set upon by a pack of wolves. The ravenous beast treed the patriot in an oak, not far from modern-day Jonesville. After he had tossed the deer in the creek, Mosley spent a long night in the tree. But with the first light of dawn, he shot the leader of the wolf pack, causing the rest to scatter. After the war, the tree became known as Mosley's Oak. But Hickey set up his shop under a figurative spreading chestnut tree and became a blacksmith. He supplemented his income by practicing homegrown dentistry, extracting aching teeth from his neighbors' mouths, using forceps of his own manufacture, forceps which are now in the Union County Museum. Mosley is buried off of Thump Smith Road, a short distance southeast of Glendale Shoals and 100 yards from the Packlet River. His tombstone was washed flat in a flood, but was restored by the Boy Scouts in 2000. In addition, in my own research online, I discovered the following information. James Thomas Mosley was born on December the 24th of 1756 in Brunswick County, Virginia. He was the son of John Mosley and Anna Baxter Mosley, and the grandson of George Mosley and Hannah Hartwell Mosley. Unfortunately for Hickey's father, he passed away in 1776 at only the age of 38. During the Revolutionary War in 1781, Hickey married Anna Susanna Jasper, who everyone called Nancy. Nancy, too, was born in Virginia in 1756. The year of their marriage, both Nancy and Hickey were 25. Nancy's parents were John Abram and Mary H. Jasper. In fact, her father also fought as a Revolutionary War soldier in the Augusta County, Virginia militia. Together, Hickey and Nancy had the following children: Nancy Ann in 1756, Elizabeth in 1782, James Jr. in 1784, Mary Polly in 1785, Nancy in 1786, John Baxter in 1788, William in 1790, Mary Polly Susanna in 1792, and Dorcas in 1796. Unfortunately, in 1832, Nancy passed. However, in the following year, Hickey did remarry. In 1833, Hickey married Martha Pickens, the daughter of James Pickens. She was much younger than Hickey, as she was born in 1795, making Martha 39 and Hickey 77. In addition, it seems Martha may have had 2 children, John Wiley Pickens in 1818 and Jane Mosley in 1835. Unfortunately, Hickey also lost his second wife, as she passed in 1839, possibly not even making it to their 5th wedding anniversary or the 5th birthday of their child. When we got back to my car, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed another road. This one was very overgrown. It didn't have a gate per se, more of a cable that had partially fallen over. So I asked Gayana if she would once again watch my kids so I could run down the road. She reluctantly said yes, but warned me if I was gone for an hour like before, that she would take my kids on a joyride. After that, I ran down the trail as fast as I could. When I came to the end of the path, a smaller trail went to the left. Upon taking it, I realized it was very swampy. I don't believe that I have ever been in woods so swampy in the upstate. I ran down that path as long as I could until the brush got so thick I thought I might get lost again. And if I'm being honest, I was getting kind of scared of snakes. As I jogged back to the car in defeat, there it was, a big tree with a cancerous growth. And near that was the leaning marker of my grandfather.
I found it. I went past it. There's a blue marker. But what caught my attention was the man who rescued me last time said that there was a giant cancer on a tree. And I found it. Lord help. Please let there be something left.
While in a hurry, I made sure to count my steps back to the car, where I found my youngest son asleep. So I went back and counted again, this time with my eldest son, Millard. After turning off of Bobby Fawcett's onto Thump Smith Road, at 0.1 miles on the left, there is a partially knocked down wire gate. Then take 137 average steps on the first path, after which you take a smaller path to the left and walk 37 average steps, and there he is. During his life, High saw many tragic and happy events. One of these surely memorable moments was the 1808 wedding of his daughter Susanna to Wymack Fowler. Interestingly, Wymack was the son of the Revolutionary War hero Ellis Fowler. According to the Old Iron District, a book by Bobby Moss, Ellis found himself in Union County during a rescue mission. In addition, on the following year, I am sure that High welcomed the birth of his granddaughter and Susan and Wymack's child, Martha. Furthermore, High was lucky enough to live to see his granddaughter Martha marry John Jackson Hodge in 1823. Interestingly, John was the descendant of Revolutionary War soldier William Hodge, who was with Elijah Clark during the Battle of Blackstock. In the end, High Mosley passed on May 19th of 1840. He was blessed with a large family and lived to the ripe age of 83. Unfortunately, this was 1 year too soon, as he didn't get to meet his great-grandson Gassaway Hodge. I only mention Gassaway as we are related to High by his son John Lawson, followed by Ada Hodge Knox, followed by Charlie May Kelly. If you are kin to High Mosley or any of the other patriots mentioned, please reach out to me, as I would love to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching.